Players are taking advantage of lower prices on the reserve list this week as we dive into the Hot 10, the hottest selling reserve list cards this week on the market. Which cards were players taking advantage of? Stick around and find out. A lot of players are out there and they are starting to go bargain hunting. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and thanks a lot for hanging out with me on the channel. I gotta say another big thank you to everyone hitting that subscribe button lately. We gained like almost another 100 subscribers in the last couple of days. I'm down to 950 subscribers to reach 13,000 subs. So thank you again to my regular viewers, new subscribers joining the channel, my patrons, and of course my YouTube membership members. Guys, this is phenomenal and I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for tuning in, watching the content, and of course hitting that subscribe button. So here we have the reserve list in a downward trend, getting prices suppressed and crushed on the market. But that will bring out the bargain hunter, the people who have that money available to them to purchase cards. They will start looking for the near mint, the best of the best, because they realize you look for the best deals at the best prices when the market is down. And on this week's Hot 10, after a week of not having enough sales to even do a Hot 10 video, we now have surprising sales in many areas of the market. We're going to take that ride down the yellow brick road together. We're going to see the number 10 card and go all the way down to number 1 to find out what was the hottest selling card on the reserve list this week and which cards are trending forward in sales as people go bargain hunting. Stay tuned. Our number 10 entry this week is Anvil of Bogarden from Visions, with 19 sales this week, October 7th to the 14th of 2022. The market price right now is $43.91 US. Overseas, it's €27.74. And here in Canada, you can find it for around $60 Canadian for a near mint copy. As this card has fallen from its high of around $175 US, bargain hunters are coming out and they are specifically looking for near mint and light played copies of this card. Now our next card today is Fork from Revised at number 9 with 20 sales from October 7th to the 14th of 2022. The market price is $46.77, and this card, just like the Anvil, has been as high as around $150 to $170 depending on the condition of the card. If you were to look on TCG Player right now, I believe moderately played copies are around the $23 to $24 mark. The light plates can be had for around $27 to $33 US, and you start moving up for the near mint copies. But the fact it's fallen this far in price leaves it susceptible to a lot of people buying play sets of 4 and starting to eat up the available. If you eat up what's available on the market, you're going to see the price rise quickly. So I suggest if you're a person hoping to get them, don't disturb the market too much. The prices being this low are good for everyone, and buy it slowly over time as copies come available. That will give you a really low shipping rate, if not free shipping if you're using TCG Player. Now our next card is going to be the Metalworker with 23 sales from Urza's Destiny at number 8 this week. This card has a market price of $140.86 US. Now remember, Urza's Destiny had our first foils, and that means the foil from this set of the Metalworker is very expensive at $878.98, but only a year ago that card was $1,000 to see the foil version. So even that card has fallen almost 20%. When we look at the high of this card being around $250 US, it hasn't fallen nearly as much as some of the other cards on today's list, but it is still falling in price and is trending down right now. And just like other cards I've shown you, this is bringing out a certain segment of the market who wants these reserve list cards and is realizing how inexpensive they are to buy right now when you start comparing it against things like the Infinity lands that are $300 a land. You could basically get 2 Metalworkers for the same price. Kind of a weird topsy-turvy world that the reserve list finds itself in right now. So let's go ahead. We're dropping down to number 7. And that is the City of Solitude from Visions as well with 24 sales, October 7th to the 14th. Now, the market price for this card is only $19.77. This card was as high as $60 US. I myself bought copies, I think, for the $50 level Canadian, and it was a lot of money for me to spend at the time. And you can see here now with the price drop it's going through, it's starting to attract more buyers finally. It's €16.44 overseas to get this card, but when you start looking at the playability of it, and a lot of enchantments back in the day like this, with only a single splash of color, like one single green plus 2 generic, each player may play spells and abilities only during his or her turn. It is a showstopper in the right type of build, or in a commander deck where you're trying to mess people up and just have some fun. It's a great card to get control of the game if you're building the right way. Now, the number 6 card this week. When we're going down to number 6, this is a bit of an anomaly. I didn't expect to see buyouts like this, but here we have the Mountain Titan from Ice Age with 25 sales this week, October 7th to the 14th, putting it in the number 6 position. With a market price of $1.01 US, this card reached as high as around the $5 mark before it collapsed back down. And this little bump we're seeing is because of the sales that happened all at once on the same day. Now, when you take a look at the Mountain Titan, you can see it is, one red, one black, 2 other. It's a 2/2 kind of vanilla guy here. But you can pump him up by paying the mana and then casting spells afterwards, which really shows how slow the game used to be, because a card like this is not going to get a lot of play right now, if ever, unless they can find a way to break the card down to make it useful. And I myself cannot think of any way right now. I have a couple play sets myself from back in the day. I always enjoyed the card, but it's not going to have a lot of action in today's environment, is it? Now, the number 5 card, this is the midway point, and we are jumping down to Underground Sea. This is where things will start to get a little more unusual for those of you who followed this far in the video. We have 26 sales, the 7th to the 14th of 2022. Now, Underground Sea, like some of the other dual lands, has slowly started to trend down in the last month or two. But as the price have trended down, buyers are coming on already, and they're not buying near mint. They are looking for moderate to heavily played cards, and that tells me this is not investors or speculators. This is players who are finally getting a chance to get in on some of these amazing cards. And from what I understand from the groups I'm following and listening to and talking with stores, these are people trading in more modern cards to get their hands on these older cards. If they can trade in a few cards worth $100, $200 a piece because of how the market is with fancy foils, this is allowing them to dive into old cards like an Underground Sea for a commander deck, which before would have been unobtainable. Now is only a couple of cards away for a lot of players who got lucky on a few packs. An amazing thing to see, and it's happening across a few areas on the reserve list right now. So that's the number 5 card this week, Underground Sea. Now dropping down to number 4, that's right, it's Devi Excavations back on the list this week with 31 sales. Now, the average price is only $21.59. The market price is $21.60 US. Anyone who's been on my channel for a while knows this is one of my all-time favorite cards, and I've been tracking this one for a very long time, which is why people will joke around and say it's the tinfoil hat army of Moxman, because this is our card that we buy. So anyone who's been on the channel for a while, go ahead, buy one, treat yourself, spend the $8 to buy a moderately played copy on TCG Player, and don't forget to use my link, guys. My TCG affiliate link is found in the description of all my videos. This video you're watching right now, click the link. It'll take you directly to TCG, and you can start your shopping experience. And I get a kickback, which is awesome. So that is Devi Excavations, which I've always been, a fan of, even when I was younger and played with it in my, vintage style deck. It definitely has a little bit of usage in some commander decks, but I understand why a lot of people are down on the card. The number 3 card is Badlands from Revised, with 32 sales this week, October 7th to the 14th of 2022. The market price for this card is $412.84 for a near mint copy, and just like what we saw with Underground Sea, it is people buying heavily played and moderately played copies. They are trading in some cards and getting their hands on very expensive old reserve list cards that right now they just have access to because of the value built into the cards they're trading in. Stores are happy because they're trading off cards that are expensive, and the player base is happy because they're getting old cards they never thought would be obtainable. This is a really good thing to see. I'm really happy for the players getting in there and getting a copy. The cheapest version of Badlands I could find locally, by the way, was $360 Canadian, and if you have some kind of discount code at that store, you may be able to get it as low as $312. So it's a great card to keep around, guys, and so easily traded for nowadays, which is what a lot of stores are telling me. So way to go, Badlands, way to go, Underground Sea. Look at the dual lands just moving up the charts this week. It's fantastic. Now we're going to drop down to the number 2 card, the second place guy who almost took the top but didn't quite get there, and that is Thrall Champion. That's right, Fallen Empires is back in action with 33 sales this week and a market price of $7.93 US. This card's only been as high as $10, so it hasn't fallen nearly as much as other cards on the list. It is one of the cards I collect on the channel. As I've always said, there's a way to break that card because it can take control of any Thrall, which means changelings and all kinds of shapeshifters. It does have a lot of playability if a few cards are made to make it that much better. Now, if you wanted to buy this card, you can find it for $1.50 for a moderately played copy. It's not going to cost you a lot, and I guess that's what people did. They said, we miss you, Thrall Champion. They decided to buy that card, probably just as a little meme to my channel to say, hey, we miss you, Thrall Champion. You weren't on the list last week. Somebody spent about $70 US and made sure it made the list. So way to go, Thrall Champion. Glad to see you back here. I was really hoping in Dominaria United we were going to get some new Thralls, and instead they gave me Timeless Lotus, which I hope gets lost in time forever. Now, you've waited long enough. Let's go down and check out the number 1 card, the number 1 selling card this week on the reserve list. The hottest card is Scrubland. Number 1 revised edition with 43 sales. You're talking around $18,000 US was spent on this card just last week. The market price is $335.14. It has been slowly trending down. I've mentioned some of these oddball dual lands are actually just starting to catch up with the blue-based dual lands that most people always remember being the expensive ones. The lower-end ones like Savannah, Taiaga, they're all kind of catching up now. They're gaining a little bit in value, but in this case, it's the sales volume that gained. And just like the other dual lands, it's the exact same situation. Some of these stores told me they sold 4 copies by people trading in textured foils, trading in a few of the Unfinity lands they happened to get at the tournament, and they moved themselves into a play set of these at more than one store, which was fantastic to hear about. You add that in with the sales on TCG Player, eBay, a few other sites I work with, and guys, this is a pretty phenomenal thing to see. So as you guys can tell, when you're looking at these sales, last week was like near dead because of the announcement Wizards put out there. The market still isn't sure which way to go. This isn't all hardcore money being spent. It's a lot of trading in value they already had or had just gotten to get themselves into some of these cards like those dual lands. But as the newer cards have that kind of staying power or at least the immediate value, you're going to see people trading in to more stable, expensive, and have a longer history of value, which is reserve list cards. So thank you very much for tuning in and hanging out with me on the channel today. I can't wait to see your comments about how you feel the market is moving now with these new higher price lands coming out, new higher price cards like textured foils, neon ink, taking control of some of those price points, but then being traded in to get the original dual lands or getting original power cards. Guys, thanks a lot. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have an awesome day. I just want to give a big shout out to all the new people joining the channel, all my amazing patrons, guys. What an experience YouTube is. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you, everyone. There's a whole lot of trading going on. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for being here at the end credits scene, the special secret place that we go into the darkness and we hang out together and eat popcorn off the floor when nobody's looking at the movie theater. You better clean that up. It's disgusting. A lot of trading, guys. Some cash exchanging hands, but a lot of trading going on to get some of these cards. It's very interesting to see. I'll let you know since you're at the end credit, you guys can put mocks in the comment section so I know you made it this far. But guess what? Actually, wait, we'll do it this way. Hold on. We're going to put Journey into Nyx into the box as well, into the 20K box. But that's not what I want to talk about. Somebody traded in a whole series of some of these Unfinity stuff they'd opened at a couple of the pre-releases and a couple of boxes. And they managed to take those cards along with a whole bunch of trade stuff they had from the last couple sets, and okay stuff. I'm not looking at the list right now, but I got, and they moved into an unlimited Mox Ruby. It was only like $2,300 for this unlimited Mox. They moved it right in. Took them like 23 cards. That's crazy. And 200 and change Canadian for some cash. Very interesting what players are deciding to do. They're just kind of finagling things sideways to get some of the cards they've always wanted because they said it's never been more attainable. The stores are hearing a couple of stories like that. So thanks a lot for being here. Thanks for being at the end, guys. I wish it was me who got that Mox Ruby, but that's okay. It's okay. I can wait. I'm a patient guy. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. I'm going to drink some coffee now because it's Saturday. I got my coffee. Wait, this is Sunday. Yeah, I'm still tired.